The auction block reeked of desperation and disinfectant. Liam stood among the other human captives, his wrists bound with neural dampeners that sent cold pulses through his veins. The Javian Empire had swept through the outer colonies like a plague, collecting humans as exotic commodities for their elite. Now, beneath the crimson glow of twin suns filtering through the crystalline dome, he waited to learn his fate. The crowd of alien nobility chittered and hissed in their native tongues, their iridescent scales catching the light as they appraised the merchandise. Liam had seen dozens of his fellow humans sold already, some to labor camps, others to research facilities where humanity's peculiar resilience would be studied and exploited. Lot 47, the auctioneer's translator crackled. Human male, age 26 standard years, excellent physical conditioning, displays remarkable problem-solving abilities. The bidding began, but Liam barely heard it. His mind was already calculating escape routes, cataloging weaknesses in the facility's security protocols. It was what humans did best: adapt, survive, overcome. The Javians had made the mistake of underestimating that. A voice cut through the auction hall, clear and commanding. The entire room fell silent. 10,000 credits. Liam's eyes snapped toward the source. She stood in the royal box, draped in flowing garments that shimmered like liquid starlight. Queen Eva, ruler of the Javian Empire's 7th sector. Her scales were a rare shade of deep violet, marking her as part of the ancient bloodline. But it was her eyes that caught him, sharp, intelligent, and fixed directly on him with an intensity that made his breath catch. The auctioneer stammered, "Why, Your Majesty? The bidding has only just 10,000 credits, she repeated, her tone brooking no argument. "I will have this one." Within the hour, Liam found himself transported to the royal palace, a sprawling complex of biomechanical architecture that seemed to breathe and pulse with life. Guards led him through corridors lined with memory glass that displayed the Empire's conquest's worlds burning, species kneeling, humanity's colonies falling like dominoes. His quarters were surprisingly spacious, more like a guest suite than a slave's cell. The neural dampeners had been removed, replaced with a simple tracker embedded beneath his skin. A servant, another human, hollow-eyed and broken, delivered food and instructions. "You're lucky," the servant whispered before leaving. "Most who come here don't get rooms, they get dissection tables." Liam spent his first week in careful observation. The palace operated on strict protocols, but every system had its flaws. He noted guard rotations, mapped security nodes, and catalogued potential weapons. The Javians might have conquered humanity's worlds, but they'd never conquered the human spirit. On the 8th night, the summons came. "Her Majesty requires your presence in her private chambers," a guard announced, its translator making the words sound clinical and cold. Liam's heart hammered as he was escorted through the palace's upper levels. The private chambers were in the highest tower, accessible only through biometric locks keyed to the royal bloodline. Every instinct screamed danger, yet he walked forward with his head high. If this was to be his end, he'd face it like a human unbroken. The doors opened to reveal a space unlike anything he'd expected. Instead of the cold, angular aesthetic of Javian design, the chamber was filled with artifacts from 100 worlds. Human books lined one wall, ancient texts that should have been lost in the invasions. Star charts marked with Earth's constellations covered another. Queen Eva stood by the observation window, her back to him. The sprawling city planet stretched below, a testament to her empire's power. "Do you know why I purchased you, Liam?" she asked without turning. He tensed. She knew his name. "To study me, to break me, to add to your collection." "No." She turned, and he saw something in her expression he hadn't expected. "I bought you because you're one of the few humans I've encountered who still has fire in their eyes. Most have been extinguished. Then you wasted your credits. Your Majesty, I'll never serve you willingly." A ghost of a smile crossed her alien features. "I don't want your service. I want your perspective." She gestured to a holographic display that materialized between them. Star charts, resource projections, casualty reports, the Empire's entire strategic network laid bare. "My people are dying," Eva said quietly. "Not from war, but from stagnation. We've conquered so much that we've forgotten how to evolve. Our technology has plateaued. Our culture has calcified. We're an empire eating itself from within." Liam stared at the data, his tactical mind automatically processing the patterns. She was right, the empire's growth had masked its decay. Within 2 generations, it would collapse. "Why, show me this," he demanded, Because humans possess something my people lost millennia ago. You were nearly extinct, scattered across 100 slave markets, and yet every report I receive tells of escapes, rebellions, innovations. Humans turned mining equipment into weapons, medical supplies into explosives, entertainment systems into communication networks. She stepped closer, her eyes searching his. You survive. You overcome. You never stop fighting. So you want to weaponize us more efficiently? No. Ava's voice hardened with conviction. I want to learn from you. I want to save my people by understanding yours. Liam stood silent, weighing her words against everything he'd endured. This could be an elaborate manipulation, a new form of torture, but the data didn't lie, and neither did the genuine desperation in her eyes. If I help you, he said slowly, I want something in return. Name it. Freedom. For every human in your sector. Not eventually now. Ava's scales rippled with emotion he couldn't read. Then, to his shock, she nodded. Agreed. But know this, Liam, your people's freedom means nothing if my empire falls and the other sectors consume us all. Help me save the Jarvian Empire, and in doing so, you may save humanity as well. She extended her hand, a gesture she'd clearly learned from human customs. Liam looked at that outstretched hand, then at the queen who'd just gambled her empire on a species she'd helped enslave. It was insane. It was dangerous. It was the most human thing he'd ever seen an alien do. He took her hand. Then let's get to work. Your Majesty. Outside the window, the twin suns began to rise, casting new light onto species learning, for the first time, what it meant to truly see each other. End.